I remember the moment I turned 50. It wasn't the candles on the cake that caught my attention. It was the quiet thought in the back of my mind. From here on, I need to take better care of myself. For many men, the prostate is one of those things you only start thinking about when there's already a problem. But here's the reality. By the time most men reach their 60s, changes in the prostate are incredibly common, even in those who feel perfectly healthy. Now, let's be clear. These changes don't always mean something dangerous is happening. But the truth is, a lot of discomfort, low energy, and even disruptions to daily life can be traced back to this small gland that sits just below the bladder. And the surprising part? Many of these issues are linked not to genetics alone, but to everyday choices. What we eat, how we move, even how we hydrate. Today, I want to share with you a natural, practical routine that can help you keep your prostate healthy well into the years ahead. This isn't about quick fixes or miracle cures. It's about understanding your body and giving it the support it needs to function at its best. And I'll let you in on a little secret right now. At the end of this guide, I'm going to reveal one simple ingredient you probably already have in your kitchen. When used correctly, it can significantly boost the results of everything we'll talk about today. But for it to work, the way you prepare it matters. Before we dive in, here's something to think about. In the US, our eating habits often work against us without us even realizing it. Fast food, processed snacks, and sugary drinks are everywhere. And while these may be convenient, they can trigger inflammation in the body, a factor closely linked to changes in the prostate. It's not just about avoiding bad foods, it's about adding the right ones in the right way. Let's start with a perspective shift. Imagine your prostate as a garden. If you water it well, feed it with rich nutrients, and keep weeds from taking over, it thrives. But neglect it, skip the watering, ignore the soil quality, and over time, it becomes harder to restore it to full health. That's why what you choose to do today can make all the difference in how you feel tomorrow. Here's something most people don't realize. The prostate doesn't just influence urination or sexual health. It's also connected to your overall energy levels, sleep quality, and even mood. Supporting it can ripple into many other aspects of your well-being. And that's why we're going to talk about simple, natural habits, things you can actually do in your daily life that help keep it functioning smoothly. Think of this as an investment. The time you put in now will pay back in vitality and comfort in the years ahead. But there's one more thing to keep in mind. Not all healthy tips you hear are actually safe. In fact, when it comes to natural remedies, the amount and method of preparation matter more than most people think. Use the wrong dosage or preparation method, and not only can you lose the benefits, you might also experience unwanted effects. That's why I'm going to guide you step by step, so you can do this the right way. I promise you'll learn things today that might surprise you, things that could change the way you approach your health from now on. And remember, the bonus tip I mentioned earlier could make the difference between a routine that works a little and a routine that works a lot. But before we get there, we need to address something many men don't even know is silently affecting their prostate health. Ignoring it could not only limit your results, but also create problems you never saw coming. And that's where we're heading next. If you've made it this far, you already understand that caring for your prostate isn't about waiting for trouble. It's about acting early so you can enjoy the decades ahead with confidence and energy. But there's something most men overlook, and it quietly works against them year after year: the silent enemy of prostate health. This enemy isn't a disease or a sudden event. It's a slow, creeping influence that comes from the modern lifestyle, especially in places like the United States, where convenience often trumps quality. I'm talking about the combination of low movement, processed foods, and hidden sugars that slip into your diet without you even realizing it. Let's start with food, because it's often the most underestimated factor. You might think you're eating healthy if you skip soda and burgers, but the truth is, many packaged foods labeled as low-fat or healthy are loaded with refined carbohydrates and hidden sugars. Take a walk down the average American supermarket aisle and look at flavored yogurts, granola bars, or even canned soups. Many are packed with added sweeteners. Over time, these sugars contribute to systemic inflammation, which can place extra stress on the prostate. And it's not just what you eat, it's how often you eat it. Snacking constantly keeps your insulin levels elevated, which is linked to increased inflammation in multiple organs, including the prostate. That's why strategic eating habits, like allowing time between meals and choosing nutrient-dense foods, are so important. But there's another factor: inactivity. The average American spends more than 6 hours a day sitting, at work, in the car, or in front of a screen. This sedentary pattern slows circulation, especially in the pelvic region, and reduced blood flow means less oxygen and fewer nutrients reach the prostate. The result? A subtle but steady decline in function over time. Now here's the part that surprises many men. Even if you go to the gym 3 times a week, long hours of sitting can still offset many of the benefits. What your prostate needs is not just intense exercise a few times a week, but consistent light movement throughout the day. Short walks, standing up every hour, stretching, these small actions can make a big difference. You might be wondering, why haven't I heard this before? The truth is, much of the health advice out there focuses on dramatic changes, special supplements, extreme diets, or expensive treatments, while ignoring the quiet, daily habits that truly shape long-term health. That's what makes this conversation different. We're focusing on what actually works, grounded in simple biology. Here's something worth thinking about. Your prostate is a small gland, but it's connected to multiple systems: urinary, reproductive, hormonal, and even immune. When inflammation or poor circulation affects it, the consequences ripple outward, influencing everything from bladder control to energy levels. By protecting it, you're not just avoiding discomfort, you're supporting your overall vitality. And remember, there's another layer to all this. Genetics do play a role, but lifestyle often determines how those genes are expressed. You may have a family history of prostate issues, but by making deliberate changes now, you can shift the odds in your favor. The good news? Turning the tide is entirely possible. It starts with awareness, and it continues with action. Today, you can start by looking at the food labels in your pantry and asking yourself a simple question: is this helping me or hurting me? Small swaps, like replacing sugary snacks with nuts, fresh fruit, or whole vegetables, are an easy first step. Pair that with adding movement breaks into your day, and you've already begun the process of protecting your prostate. Still, we've only scratched the surface. There's a particular daily habit that either feeds your prostate with exactly what it needs, or slowly drains its resilience. And while many men believe they're doing it right, a simple mistake in how it's done can undo most of the benefits. Ignoring this next step won't just slow your progress, it could lead to changes you'd rather avoid. That's where we're headed next, and trust me, it's one of the most important points we'll cover. What you choose to put on your plate each day has more influence on your prostate than most people realize. And I'm not just talking about avoiding obvious unhealthy choices. This is about actively selecting foods that feed your body the nutrients it needs to protect, repair, and maintain this small but vital gland. The problem is, many men assume that if they aren't eating fast food daily, they're in the clear. The truth is, the difference between a meal that supports your prostate and one that slowly undermines it can be subtle but powerful. Let's look at a typical breakfast. Many American men start their day with pancakes dripping in syrup, crispy bacon, maybe a side of scrambled eggs cooked in butter, and a cup of strong coffee loaded with sugar and flavored creamer. It's a satisfying, comforting plate, one I enjoyed myself for years. But while it may fill you up, it sets the stage for inflammation, hormonal imbalances, and sluggish circulation, 3 factors that directly impact prostate health. Now compare that with a breakfast that includes cooked tomatoes, a small handful of walnuts, and a cup of unsweetened green tea. Cooked tomatoes are rich in lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that becomes more bioavailable when heated. Walnuts provide omega-3 fatty acids, known for their anti-inflammatory properties, and green tea offers catechins, compounds that protect cells from oxidative stress. This isn't just theory. Study after study shows that these nutrients can help maintain prostate size, reduce inflammation, and support overall urinary function. The shift isn't about deprivation, it's about replacement. Instead of processed breakfast meats, you could choose grilled salmon or a vegetable omelet. Instead of syrup-laden pancakes, try whole grain toast topped with avocado and tomato slices. And yes, you can still enjoy coffee, but keep it simple and skip the artificial creamers and excess sugar. There's another layer to this: variety. Eating the same healthy food every single day might not give you the range of nutrients your body needs. A colorful plate is more than visually appealing. It's a sign you're getting a mix of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. The deep reds of tomatoes, the greens of leafy vegetables, the purples of berries, all offer unique compounds that work together to protect your prostate and overall health. And here's a surprising fact. While raw vegetables are great, certain prostate-friendly nutrients are actually more potent after cooking. Lycopene in tomatoes, beta-carotene in carrots, and some antioxidants in mushrooms become more available to your body once heat is applied. That means preparation is as important as the ingredients themselves. I once knew a man in his late 50s who decided to change just his breakfast routine. He swapped sugary cereals and processed meats for oatmeal topped with pumpkin seeds, a side of sautéed spinach, and green tea. Within months, he noticed not only improved digestion, but also fewer nighttime trips to the bathroom. Small, consistent changes like this can yield real results over time. The key takeaway is this: every bite is a choice between helping or harming your body. By making intentional swaps, you can create a daily rhythm that nourishes your prostate while also supporting your heart, brain, and immune system. And remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. But there's something even more powerful than food alone. If you ignore it, your results will be limited no matter how clean your diet is. It's something that works alongside your meals, improving circulation, balancing hormones, and ensuring nutrients reach where they're needed most. Without it, you could be leaving much of your progress on the table, and over time, it could lead to side effects you'd rather avoid. Even the most nutrient-rich diet can only go so far if your body isn't moving enough. Movement isn't just about burning calories or building muscle. It's about circulation, hormonal balance, and keeping every system in your body running smoothly, including your prostate. The reality is, a sedentary lifestyle is one of the most underestimated risks for men over 50, and it's especially common in our modern routines. Think about a typical workday. You might spend hours at a desk, followed by a commute in the car, and then more time sitting in front of the television at night. Even if you fit in a 30-minute gym session, that still leaves long stretches of inactivity, and those hours matter more than most men realize. When you sit for prolonged periods, blood flow to the pelvic region decreases, leading to poor oxygenation and less efficient delivery of nutrients to the prostate. One of the simplest ways to counteract this is to break up your sitting time. Stand up every 45-60 minutes, walk around, stretch your hips and lower back, and get the blood moving. It may sound too easy to matter, but research shows that these small interruptions in sedentary time can have measurable effects on circulation and inflammation. For those who want to go a step further, incorporating light cardio like brisk walking, cycling, or swimming can work wonders. These activities keep your heart rate up without placing excessive strain on your joints. In fact, studies suggest that men who engage in moderate physical activity several times a week tend to have better urinary function and fewer symptoms related to an enlarged prostate. Strength training also plays a role. Building lean muscle mass helps regulate hormones, including testosterone, which has a direct influence on prostate health. Exercises like bodyweight squats, lunges, and resistance band work can be done at home with minimal equipment, making it easier to stick to a routine. But there's another benefit of movement that often gets overlooked: stress reduction. Chronic stress increases levels of cortisol, a hormone that, when elevated for long periods, can promote inflammation and disrupt hormonal balance. Physical activity helps regulate cortisol, improve mood, and support better sleep, all of which indirectly benefit the prostate. I've seen men make dramatic improvements by combining small daily changes in diet with consistent, moderate physical activity. One man in particular, who had spent decades in a desk job, began taking 2 15-minute walks during his workday and doing light stretches in the evening. Within a few months, not only did his energy increase, but his nighttime bathroom trips became less frequent. Remember, you don't have to train like an athlete to protect your prostate. What matters most is consistency and variety, finding activities you enjoy so that you stick with them. Still, even with the right food and regular movement, there's a crucial factor that can make or break your progress. It's something that seems harmless, but can actually erase much of the benefit you've worked for if done the wrong way. Neglecting it won't just slow your improvements. It could lead to outcomes that impact your daily comfort and long-term health. You can follow the right diet, keep moving every day, and still find that your results fall short if you overlook one critical detail: how you prepare the very foods and drinks meant to help you. Many men unknowingly strip away the nutrients they need most simply by using the wrong cooking methods or storage habits. It's a silent obstacle, but one that can make the difference between real improvement and wasted effort. Take the tomato, for example. We've already talked about its rich lycopene content and how beneficial it can be for prostate health. But here's what many people don't realize. Eating tomatoes raw will give you some lycopene, but gently cooking them in a bit of healthy fat, like olive oil, dramatically increases how much your body can actually absorb. On the other hand, overcooking them at very high temperatures can destroy other heat-sensitive vitamins. It's about balance, knowing how to get the best of each food without losing its natural power. The same goes for tea. Green tea is packed with antioxidants, but steeping it in boiling water for too long can make it bitter and reduce its beneficial properties. The ideal method? Use hot but not boiling water and let it steep for just 2 to 3 minutes. This preserves its delicate compounds while giving you a smooth, pleasant flavor you'll want to drink regularly. Even nuts, which are a great source of healthy fats and minerals, can lose their nutritional value if they're roasted in oils at high temperatures or coated with excess salt. Choosing raw or lightly roasted varieties keeps those nutrients intact and reduces unnecessary sodium, which is important for overall cardiovascular and kidney health, two systems that work closely with the prostate. Another common issue is storage. Fresh produce begins losing vitamins the moment it's harvested. If you buy large quantities but let them sit in the fridge for over a week, you might be eating food that's far less nutrient-dense than you think. Shopping in smaller batches or freezing produce at peak freshness can help you retain more of those valuable compounds. I've met men who were frustrated after months of following healthy plans without seeing much change. In many cases, the problem wasn't what they were eating, it was how they were preparing it. Once they learned the correct cooking techniques, they began noticing real improvements: more energy, fewer urinary symptoms, and better sleep quality. There's also the issue of portion and balance. Some natural remedies are powerful in small amounts, but too much can put unnecessary stress on the body. For instance, high doses of certain herbal teas or supplements can interfere with medications or cause digestive issues. That's why it's so important to stick to safe, well-researched amounts rather than assuming that more is always better. When you combine the right foods with the right preparation methods, you create a powerful synergy. Nutrients are absorbed more efficiently, your body gets what it needs, and the results start to show more clearly. Still, there's one final piece to this puzzle that ties everything together. It's the bonus tip I promised at the very start, and it can multiply the benefits of everything you've learned so far, if and only if it's used in the correct way. Neglecting it won't just reduce your progress, it could lead to side effects you'd prefer to avoid. From the beginning, I promised to share a simple, kitchen-friendly ingredient that can boost the effects of everything we've discussed. This isn't an exotic superfood or something you need to order online. It's a familiar staple you may already have on your shelf: pumpkin seeds. Small, easy to use, and incredibly nutrient-rich, they're one of the most underrated allies for prostate health. Pumpkin seeds are loaded with zinc, an essential mineral for hormone regulation and immune function, both of which are closely tied to prostate health. Zinc plays a role in reducing inflammation and maintaining normal prostate size. These seeds also contain phytosterols, plant-based compounds that help support healthy urinary flow and reduce the discomfort associated with age-related prostate changes. But as with everything we've covered, the way you consume them matters. Eating pumpkin seeds straight from the bag is fine, but lightly toasting them without excessive oil or salt enhances their flavor while preserving most of their nutrients. Over-roasting them at high heat or adding heavy seasoning can strip away some of their benefits and add unnecessary sodium. The ideal serving size is small. Just a handful a day is enough to deliver meaningful amounts of zinc and other essential nutrients. You can enjoy them as a snack, sprinkle them over salads, add them to oatmeal, or blend them into smoothies. This variety not only makes them easier to include in your routine, but also helps you stay consistent. I've seen men who added pumpkin seeds to their daily diet and noticed changes within weeks, not dramatic, overnight shifts, but steady improvements in comfort, energy levels, and even mood. When combined with the dietary changes, regular movement, and proper preparation methods we've already discussed, this small habit can create a big ripple effect in your overall well-being. And this is where everything comes together. Caring for your prostate isn't about one single food, one exercise, or one miracle habit. It's about a pattern, a lifestyle built from small, consistent actions that work in harmony. Eating a balanced, nutrient-rich diet, moving regularly, preparing your food correctly, and adding targeted ingredients like pumpkin seeds forms a routine that supports not just your prostate, but your entire body. The truth is, you have more control over your health than you may have been led to believe. Every choice you make, every meal, every movement, every preparation either moves you toward vitality or away from it. The sooner you start making intentional decisions, the longer you'll enjoy the benefits. So here's my invitation. Don't let this knowledge sit unused. Put it into practice. Choose better ingredients, move with purpose, prepare your food wisely, and add small but powerful habits like pumpkin seeds to your daily routine. In doing so, you're not just protecting your prostate, you're investing in a future of strength, comfort, and energy. And while this is the final step in this particular journey, it's also the beginning of a new one for you. The next choice you make could be the one that changes the rest of your life. Ignoring it won't just slow your progress. Over time, it could lead to discomforts and challenges that are far harder to reverse than they are to prevent today.